Hey guys, today we're going to be counting down the top 10 most used guns in the Hunter Call of the Wild for 2023. Now these are going to be my favorite top 10 guns, the ones that I use the most, and I am going to share with you where you can find them, if they are DLC or not, and what classes they are good for, and we are going to shoot every single one of them in today's video. Let me know in the comments which are your most used guns in the game and why. I would absolutely love to know, and we're gonna head straight into it. Coming in at number 10 on our list of top 10 most used guns in the Hunter Call of the Wild is the Ranger 243. Now the Ranger 243 is a class 2 to 6 rifle. It does come with the base game, it's non-DLC, so that makes it accessible to absolutely everyone. Now there are other things you can use instead of it, but the 243 is a very reliable weapon, and a lot of maps have species that go all the way down to class 2. So right here we are in the New England mountains, we have raccoons, and they are a class 2 species. So let's take one down right now. And splat! She is dead with one shot. Now I used to complain a lot about the 243, but the more I use it, the more I realize for class 2 animals, it really is an amazing gun. You can zero all the way up to 300 meters with it, so it's great for long range capabilities, whereas not all weapons are. Now I do prefer to use it with the polymer tips, but you can actually use soft points with the 243, and the soft points are absolutely free in the store. But I do think it is worth paying the money to use polymers because you're just going to get that much better penetration. Because the 243 is not a super powerful weapon, but it definitely does get the job done. And that was an absolutely beautiful shot. It went right through this raccoon. We got right lung, liver, and stomach from 148 meters. And yes, we are using the polymer tips there. So that was 148 meter shot. So we were zeroed perfectly. And there you go. That's the 243 for you. It is completely free, comes with the base game. It does weigh 3.5 kilograms, and it is good for classes 2 to 6. It has 5 shots, and you can use the 243 polymer tips, $530 for 10 shots, and then we have the 243 soft points. They have way less penetration. They are totally free, but I do highly recommend using the polymer tips. Coming in at number 9 on our list of top 10 most used guns in the Hunter Call of the Wild is the 10mm Davani. Now the 10mm, and this is it right here, is absolutely phenomenal for a defensive weapon, especially against gray wolves, which are now found in Medved, and we have a whole pack coming right at us. What makes this handgun so amazing is the fact that it does have its own scope, and it has 15 shots, so you do not have to stop to reload. Beautiful. Whoa! I think I need my lights on. Ow! What's the big idea here? And off they go. So the 10mm Davani comes in the Assorted Sidearms DLC, and it is a great little weapon pack. But as a defensive weapon, it is absolutely amazing. So it is good for classes 2 to 6. You can't use it as a defensive weapon on capes or water buffalo, but aggressive warthogs, any aggressive pigs, and especially aggressive wolves in Medved or Yukon, the 10mm Davani is going to do an amazing job, and I am using the hard cast flat nose bullets for the most penetration. Davani is the bigger sibling of one of the most used and reliable handguns in the world. It's a semi-automatic recoil operated with a 15-round magazine and chambered for the 10mm auto cartridge. So basically the 10mm is a semi-automatic handgun built for close range medium game. It does have 2 different color variations. Once you do purchase the Assorted Sidearms pack, it is free to purchase from the store. You do also need to purchase this scope right here, which is the Marksman Davani reflex sight, made exactly for the 10mm, and it is also free in the store. So here is the ammo for it. We have the 10mm auto hard cast flat nose, which have 50 for penetration. Shows you right there, good for classes 2 to 6. And then we also do have the 10mm auto jacketed hollow points with much less penetration, only 12. So I like to use the hard cast bullets. Coming in at number 8 on our list of top 10 most used guns in Call of the Wild is the Zarza 223. Now, the Zarza 223 kind of gets a bad rap, but it actually is absolutely fantastic for small predators. The nice thing about the Zarza 223 is that you can zero all the way up to 300 meters, so you can take those long-range shots that you can't with a lot of the other rifles in the same class. So it is good for classes 2 to 6, but I like it for things like red fox, gray fox, raccoons, jackals. It is really, really great for hunting here in the New England mountains because there are a lot of small predators here. I'm gonna zero down to 75 and I'm gonna have to aim a little high. You have to be very careful when you are hunting small predators with the zeroing because being off even by 20 meters will make a big difference to your shot. Now let me see. She is about 92 meters. We should be good. So here we go. Beautiful shot, and we definitely smoked her. So I actually do use the Zarza 223 quite a lot. I do take it with me to every map that does have a small predator on it. And it comes in the Modern Rifles DLC, and there she is. Beautiful left long shot. That was from 94 meters with the Zarza 223 ambusher, and I do always prefer the polymer bullets. And that is the new Fox model, and don't they look awesome? Much fluffier. It does come in the ambusher and midnight. It carries 5 rounds. It uses the 223 ammo, and you can choose from polymer or soft points. The polymers have 20 for penetration. The soft points only have 10, so I do like to stick with the polymer tips. And coming in at number 7 on our list of top 10 best guns in Called Wild is the Hudzik 50 Caplock Muzzleloader. Now, with the introduction of the New England Mountains map, we did get a second muzzleloader added to the game, but my favorite is still the Hudzik. It is definitely more powerful than the new muzzleloader, and I just personally prefer it. Now, between the two ammos, you can go from classes 3 all the way up to class 8 with this muzzleloader, and it is a very powerful weapon. So it only carries 1 shot, and it does take about a year and a half to reload. Not quite, but there is a very long reload animation, so if you do need a very quick follow-up shot, I recommend cycling over to a second weapon and continuing firing, because it will take a very long time for the muzzleloader to reload. So it zeroes in at 100, 150, and 200 meters. It has its own very sweet scope, and we're gonna take down this little fellow with it and see how it does. So we're 0 to 100, so I'm gonna aim a little bit high. And splat. So I'm just gonna leave this running as I run over there so you can see how long the animation is. It is a very cool animation. They did a great job, but it does take a very long time. Now, that is part of the reason I don't use muzzleloaders as much as I probably should, is the fact that I really do love to have a follow-up shot. You're not going to get that with the muzzleloader, but they are a lot of fun to hunt with. All right, so we got a double lung shot there from 119 meters. We are using the mini balls. They are a little bit more powerful than the round balls, but the muzzleloader absolutely smoked this fallow deer, and yes, pun intended. So the muzzleloader comes in the Smoke and Barrels DLC, and that is an absolutely fantastic DLC pack to purchase. Once you do purchase the Smoke and Barrels weapon pack, it is $0 to purchase, and there are 2 different ammos for the muzzleloader, which will dictate which classes you can shoot. So we have here the 50 caliber round ball, which are good for classes 3 to 7, and we have the 50 caliber mini ball, which are good for classes 4 to 8. So if you are carrying both of these ammos, the muzzleloader will cover classes 3 all the way through class 8. But you can't get up to class 9, unfortunately. I would love to see a class 9 muzzleloader added to the game at some point. But this muzzleloader is the strongest in the game, and that is why I have selected it for our top 10. Coming in at number 6 on our list of top 10 best guns in Called Wild is the 12 gauge Cacciatore shotgun. Now, the beautiful thing about the Cacciatore is that it has 6 shots, so it does eliminate the need to stop and reload, and when you do reload, you lose time, and that's when the ducks, if that's what you're hunting, will be getting away. So having 6 shots is very, very handy, and it is non-DLC, so you do not have to purchase any weapon pack in order to get it. Now, when I am hunting any waterfowl, I always carry with me the Cacciatore and the Virant 22, and I start off with the shotgun, and as they get further away, I will pull out the Virant 22 for those long-range shots, because the most you can zero up to with the Cacciatore is 75 meters. It zeroes in at 25, 50, and 75. Now, you can use it with or without the scope. They're 50 meters away. Here we go. As they get away, it gets much harder. So then you'll want to cycle over to the 22. They're much harder to get in the air now, but then you can start firing away. It is not easy to get them since the rework to the waterfowl system. They are definitely more challenging, but duck hunting is a lot of fun. Challenge equals fun in my opinion. And we got a few there, and these are golden-eye ducks, and all you need is one pellet to kill them. That's it. And that is a nice male there, 52 meter shot, and we are using the Cacciatore with 12 gauge birdshot. So the Cacciatore is 48,000 in-game dollars. It is non-DLC. You do have to unlock it. So to unlock it, you just use your base game shotgun and shoot and harvest as many things as you possibly can until you have it unlocked. You will also need to unlock the Meridian 1 4x20 shotgun scope if you are going to use a scope. So for the Cacciatore, we have the 12 gauge birdshot, which is good for class 1. We have the 12 gauge buckshot, which is good for classes 2 to 5. And we have the 12 gauge slugs, which are good for classes 4 to 8. So between all the ammos, the Cacciatore is good for every class except for class 9. Coming in at number 5 on our list of top 10 best guns in Cold Wild is the 243 Cuomo Pistol. Now this is a relatively new weapon to the game. It comes in the Assorted Sidearms DLC, and it is actually my favorite sidearm out of that pack, and the reason for it is just so darn practical. The 243 pistol is good for classes 2 to 6. It only weighs 1 kilogram, and you can put any scope on it, and it zeroes in at 50, 100, and 200 meters, so it has some pretty darn good range on it. So it is great for those small predators. But being only 1 kilogram makes it absolutely fantastic. It will fit in any loadout. She is 184 meters out, so we're gonna 0 to 200. Now the one downfall of this handgun is it is a single shooter. You don't get another shot. You do have to reload after every single shot, so make that first shot count. Here we go. And splat! Oh my goodness, I didn't expect that to happen. So make sure to reload right away because you never know when you're gonna need to take another shot with it, but it's just such a practical handgun. Now, if I were mainly hunting small predators, I would probably take out the Zarza 223, but if I'm hunting everything, I'm grabbing the 243 Cuomo. I'll be fine with just the one shot. Then we can carry more weapons on us. And we did get a vital. Oh, look at that shot. Okay, so we got right long and thoracic from 185 meters. And there you go, the Cuomo. We're using the competitor with the 243 polymers, and that absolutely dropped the Springbok in its tracks. So it is an absolutely fantastic and very practical pistol. There are 2 different variations. We have the champion and we have the competitor. Once you do purchase the Assorted Sidearms pack, they are free to purchase, and you can use either the 243 polymer tips or the free 243 soft point bullets, but I do highly recommend the polymer tips. And coming in at number 4 on our list of top 10 best guns in Cold Wild is the Virant 22 LR. Now, we also do have a second Virant in the game. We now have the Zarza 22, but the reason why the Virant is so much better than the Zarza is simply the fact that the Virant has 10 shots compared to only 5 shots with the Zarza 22. So I always take out the Virant when I am hunting turkeys, basically class 1 species. It's awesome for hunting geese, ducks. We're gonna use it on turkeys right here. Beautiful. It's nice and quiet. One shot will do the trick, and splat splat. 2 dead turkeys right there. So with the Virant, you can zero in at 50, 100, and 150 meters. You definitely can take further shots with it. When you aim, guys, each dot is 50 meters, so I actually really enjoy shooting at turkeys that are 300 plus meters away. Use each dot as 50 meters and you should be able to take them down relatively easily. Now, the Virant 22 comes in Weapon Pack 1, and I carry it with me to absolutely every single map. And that was a 158 meter shot. left long, and left long. So I am using the trunnicated cone bullet ammo, and it does have more penetration, but both ammos will do the trick. And it is only good for classes 1. Now, as far as ammo goes, we now have the 22 jacketed hollow point bullets, and we do have the 22 trunnicated cone bullets, and the difference between the two is penetration. The hollow points have 5 for penetration, and the trunnicated cone bullets have 17, but quite honestly, they're both gonna do a great job with the 22, but the fact that the Virant has 10 shots is what sets it apart from all of the rest of the 22s that are in the game, and I do take it with me to pretty much every map in the game. Top 10. Coming in at number 3 on our list of top 10 best guns in Call of the Wild is the Rhino 454. Now, this handgun is the most powerful handgun in the entire game. It is good for classes 4 all the way up to 9, and it is a non-DLC handgun. Now, you can get the Sunberg Rhino for free. You do not have to unlock it. It will just be in the store for you as a 5th anniversary gift from EW, which is very, very sweet. Now, this handgun only weighs 2 kilograms, and it is probably the best defensive weapon in the entire game. It zeroes in at 25, 50, and 75 meters, and this is what you want to be packing when you are getting attacked by an aggressive cape or water buffalo. Okay, so we have a bunch of cape right here. They are about 85 meters away, so why don't we go for this guy right here. So it has a pretty sweet scope. We'll go for 2, and hopefully, yep, they are already dropping. The Rhino is so powerful. Down to 25, down to 0, and splat. Down she goes. So we took 2 shots, and we have 2 dead Cape Buffaloes. Absolutely sweet. I absolutely love the Rhino. Now look at the penetration. It went through both lungs. That was an 81 meter shot, but this thing is an absolute beast. So also double lung here, and like I said, this is with the flat nose hardcast bullets. They get absolutely insane penetration, and I'm getting murdered. If you do purchase it, it is a non-DLC weapon. It is $48,000, but there's really no point in spending that money. You can just get the Sunberg for free. Also, you have unlocked for you the 454 jacketed hollow point bullets. These are unlocked for you, so you can use those right out of the gate. But the best ammo is the flat nose hardcast. The hollow points have 25 for penetration, but when we move over here to the hardcast bullets, we have 100% penetration, so I highly do recommend you use the hardcast bullets when using the 454. Now, you will have to unlock them, so use that handgun as much as you can with the already unlocked hollow points, and you will eventually unlock those hardcast bullets. But the 454 is such an amazing handgun. It is by far the best handgun in the entire game. Coming in at number 2 on our list of top 10 best guns in Call of the Wild is actually a 4-way tie between the FL Sporter 303, the Zarza 308, the M1 Iwaniak, and the Eckers 30-06. That's a lot of weapons, but you know what? Those are our 4 best 4 to 8 classed rifles in the game, and they all do an amazing job, and they actually all perform very similarly to each other. So we're gonna shoot all 4 of them and compare them right now. We have a pretty nice fallow here. Now, the one thing about the 30-06 that puts it a little bit below the rest is the fact that it weighs a kilogram more than the other rifles and has 1 less shot. The Eckers 30-06 has 4 shots, and the other 3 all have 5 shots. So we'll start here with the Eckers 30-06. Now, the one awesome thing that it does have going for it is the sound that it makes. It just sounds so amazing. So they all zero in at 75, 150, and 300 meters. So you got lots of long range capabilities with all of them. So this fellow is about 200. We're 0 to 150. And that's that awesome sound, and we did get them. So this time we're going to use the FL Sporter. Now, the FL Sporter 303 is my favorite 4 to 8 rifle. I believe it's around $40,000, but you can get it for free doing the missions. So here we go. That's the sound it makes. And will take 2. And now I do have 3 points in recoil management, but the recoil is almost negligible. And I just absolutely love the 303. Oh, I was a little too high. That was not a good shot, but that's not the fault of the Eckers 30-06. That is my fault. So the 30-06 is a bolt action rifle chambered in 30-06, and it has been a very popular rifle in the game for a very long time. Okay, so now we're gonna fire the M1. Any one of these 4 rifles will do an amazing job for a red deer grind, a whitetail grind. It really does come down to personal preference. There are little tiny differences. For example, the FL Sporter ammo has a tiny bit more penetration and expansion than the 30-06 ammo. But when you're actually using it, they perform just about exactly the same. So that's the M1. Absolutely demolished this little fallow doe, but is good for anything from classes 4 to 8. And here is that magical ping. There it is, when you take your last shot, and that is something that makes the M1 very popular. Now we took these 2 down with the 303 and absolutely demolished them. It really does come down to personal preference. Now the 308 comes in the Modern Rifles DLC, the 30-06 comes in Weapon Pack 3, the 303 comes with the New Zealand Te Awaroa DLC, and the M1 comes in the Smoke and Barrels pack. They are all DLC rifles. Now there is one non-DLC rifle that is 4 to 8, and that is the 270, and it is not nearly as strong as these 4 rifles, and I never use it, and that is why it is not on my list today. Okay guys, we have a red deer here, so now we need to try out the Zarza 308. Now my personal preference, this is my second favorite 4 to 8 after the 303. Very, very quiet, very smooth. Now sometimes you do get some blanks, but I think that's been happening with all the rifles lately. But I would say that the Zarza 308 is definitely one of the most popular rifles in the entire game. We don't actually need more 4 to 8 rifles in the game, it's more of a want. We always like to have more weapons to play with. So the 308 is a semi-automatic rifle, and it did a double lung shot, 202 meters on the trot. It will do an amazing job on your red deer and whitetail grind. So here is a direct comparison between the 308, the 30-06, and the 303. Now the M1 and the 30-06 have exactly the same stats, except for the M1 has 2 more points in recoil. And here is a direct comparison between all of their ammos, and the M1 and the 30-06 use the same ammo, so there it is. Coming in at number 1 on our list of top 10 best guns in Call of the Wild is the 300 Canning Magnum. Now the 300 is my absolute favorite rifle in the entire game. It is good for classes 7 to 9. In my opinion, there is nothing better for shooting moose than the 300. Now there is going to be an honorable mention. This isn't the last weapon we're going to look at, so stick around right to the end. Moose are class 8, so you can use any 4 to 8 rifle, but you are going to do a lot more tracking. When you do, I personally like to use the 300. Now let's see if we can take these 2 moose right here. Here we go. And I think that was good. It was. We got them both. Very sweet. We are going to try that again, but with the 7mm and compare them. Now the 300 comes with the Yukon Valley DLC. It is 75,000 in-game dollars, which is expensive, but it is worth every single penny. I actually carry both variations of the 300 with me when I am doing the moose grind, so that if I need more than 4 shots, I don't have to reload. I can just cycle over to the second and continue shooting. The 300 carries 4 shots, and it's just an absolute powerhouse. Feels like a cannon when you're shooting it. It's definitely going to save you a heap of time tracking when you're doing your moose grind, as opposed to using any 4 to 8 rifle on moose, as moose are big and very heavy duty. So we got a single lung there, but we did bust through the scapula, and single lung on that shot. I'm surprised it actually didn't go through and get double lung, but it did an amazing job, and I just absolutely love the 300. Okay, so we now have the 300 Canning Magnum in the store. It comes in 2 different variations. We have the Frontier And we have the Marches. My favorite, I believe this is the one with the gold barrel. That is my favorite one. I have not customized the barrel because I like the way it looks on its own, but the 300 is my absolute favorite weapon in the entire game. It is good for classes 7 to 9. It carries 4 shots, and it is just so powerful. I do use the 300 Magnum polymer tips. They have a penetration of 42. You can also use the soft point bullets, which only have a penetration of 21. So I'm all for the extra penetration, and the only competing weapon for the 300 I would say would be the 338, but the 338 does not have a follow-up shot, so the 300 is your absolute best weapon for moose, for bears, for anything up in that 7 to 9 class range. Now, as an honorable mention, guys, we are going to have a look at the 7mm. Now, the 7mm is a non-DLC rifle, and that makes it accessible to absolutely everyone. It is good for classes 4 all the way up through 9, so that is a huge benefit, but it is not as strong as the 300, and as I mentioned before, it's not the best for doing grinds because you don't have a follow-up shot. So here, this is the 7mm. But it actually automatically reloads, so you can't really cycle over. So I only get the 1 shot, and I can't take a... Ooh. I think I missed him. You see how the 300 is just much better for taking down more than 1 moose? But if you are playing with non-DLC, the 7mm is the best rifle you can use in the game. And it does have the best range of classes. The 7mm is actually a break action rifle, and both the 300 and the 7mm will zero all the way up to 300 meters. And there you go. So you can see it didn't penetrate as much as the 300 does, but it did just a fine job. We didn't track them for too long. The only drawback is that you don't have a follow-up shot. And that is why I have it as our honorable mention and not as my #1 weapon. But let me know what your favorite gun in the game is, guys, and why. Click right here, guys, for the next video that YouTube recommends just for you. Thanks for watching, and we will definitely see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.